Continuing our look at the Planet of the Apes movies in the build-up to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, we're looking at Dawn. And yes, we're only looking at that newer trilogy. This is where Matt Reeves came into the picture as director. This one came out 10 years ago. Isn't that crazy? But this one once again stars Andy Serkis as Caesar, and you have newer human characters come into the fold like Jason Clarke, Keri Russell, and the phenomenal Gary Oldman, one of my favorites. And this movie fast forwards 10 years after the events of Rise. And the world is going through a pandemic at this point. Can you believe that? Simian flu wiped out much of the world's humans, and genetically enhanced chimpanzee Caesar and his ever-growing band of followers have established a thriving colony just outside San Francisco. Muir Woods, to be more specific. All while this is going on, a small band of human survivors emerge, which forces Caesar, as the leader of the apes, to grapple with the dual challenge of protecting his own kind and re-establishing a relationship with the remaining human population. And even though there's an inner struggle with the apes themselves between Caesar and a very intimidating character named Koba, Koba's played here by Toby Käbbel, masterfully might I add, Caesar's secret wish is that he wants to re-establish that relationship with the humans. And let me just say right off the bat, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is fan-freaking-tastic. Like, I have heard a fair amount of people say that this movie did for the Planet of the Apes movies what The Empire Strikes Back did for Star Wars back then. Like, in every single facet, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is considerably better than Rise. It's not just because of the enhanced motion capture abilities and the CGI in this. Because I mentioned in my review for Rise that these apes looked so freaking realistic. But this one, you can actually see these apes bleeding, and they're scraped, and they're scarred, and they're dirty. Like, they legit look like they're weather-beaten, and they've been through the ringer. It is no surprise that this team was nominated for Best Visual Effects at the Oscars. And egregiously, that was their only Oscar nomination that year. Actually, maybe not egregiously, because 2014 was a great year for movies. But in hindsight, after rewatching this thing, man, I wish that Andy Serkis got a Best Actor nomination or was at least considered. Because the work that he puts into Caesar, masterful. Absolutely masterful. He does get a bit more dialogue than he did in Rise, because the apes' vocabulary is ever expanding. But this movie, through Caesar's whole arc and his relationship with humans as a whole, it gives you a lot to think about. It gives you a lot to think about in terms of not judging another race in this instance just by their looks or by their appearance or by their cognitive abilities. This screenplay is so freaking intelligent, and it handles all of this material and the messaging in here. Like, it's beautiful what they do. And Andy Serkis is not your only acting standout. Like I said, Toby Käbbel as your villain, so freaking intimidating here. Like, this face is the stuff of nightmares. You'll probably be seeing him later tonight. But across the board, again, the human characters, this is a fix from Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Dawn's human characters are so much more interesting, and there's so much more great conflict there. Your main human hero is Jason Clarke playing Malcolm, and he is so freaking real in this movie. I would honestly argue that this is Jason Clarke's best work as an actor, because the conflict and the resolution and the relationship that he eventually develops with Caesar, again, for lack of a better term, it's heartwarming. And it's inspiring. I mean, everybody's great in this. Keri Russell's really good. You have Kodi Smit-McPhee playing the son here. I believe that's his name. The voice of Paranorman. He's really good in this. And of course, Gary Oldman. How can I go without mentioning the living legend himself? God, he's throwing everything he's got into this. And you know who else is throwing everything they've got into this was director Matt Reeves. How he's handling the camera and the cinematography and the shots that he's able to achieve and how he's able to relay these messages. Like, this is just phenomenally stunning direction here. It's no surprise that he was pegged to direct the sequel, War for the Planet of the Apes, which, yeah, we'll talk about. It's no surprise that his work in the science fiction genre garnered him the directorial credit for the Batman. Like, Matt Reeves knows what he's doing behind the camera. And he's honestly one of my favorite directors working right now. I haven't seen Dawn in a long time, so it was a real treat to be able to just sit back and enjoy this. And it was a real treat to see a director like Matt Reeves take over this IP. And I mean this in no disrespect to Rupert Wyatt, who did a really solid job with Rise. But Matt Reeves, I feel like, understands this whole genre and all this subtextual material and all this foreboding sense of doom and war on the Planet of the Apes. Like, he gets it. Matt Reeves absolutely got it. Like, just technically speaking, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is a marvel. Great direction, phenomenal motion capture work. Andy Serkis is a living legend. Like, his motion capture work might be his overall legacy. I hope that's not the case because he's a brilliant actor besides the point. But if you wanted to make the case that Caesar is his best role, I'm not going to sit here and debate it too long. Also, you want to know who doesn't get enough credit for this movie? Michael Giacchino and his score. Like, he gets every single tone just right. If I were to nitpick one little thing about Planet of the Apes, I know I went on and on about how great I think the script is. If I were to nitpick one little thing, I feel like the dialogue was a little bit too on the nose in some cases. Like, there will be times where a character will go into a deep paragraph of exposition about what other characters do or what happened. And it's like, I understand that you're catching other characters up, but the audience saw that. And I feel like some of these smaller character moments would have been better realized if you had subtext in there instead of actual dialogue, you know what I mean? But that's honestly just me looking for something to nitpick because I love Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I can't wait to rewatch it again. Matt Reeves gave us a real treat in the science fiction genre, didn't he? I'm going to give Dawn of the Planet of the Apes an A. An absolutely wonderful film that gives the audience member lots to think about. But we're not done. Before Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, we gotta talk about the war. And the war that was talked about at the end of Dawn, this is where everything blows up. And Matt Reeves comes back to direct that one. Can't wait to discuss it. But let me know what you think of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes down in the comments. Is this your favorite Apes movie? There's a lot that we can discuss on this channel in terms of the cinematic world, all the new releases that are coming out. I've got a lot of great retrospective playlists going through the summertime that are in the pipeline. So if you want to stay up to date with all this fun content, do consider subscribing. Tap on that thumbs up as well. That would be a huge help. Guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. Look out for my review of War for the Planet of the Apes hitting this channel shortly. Y'all are the best, guys. And with all that being said, back talk, commence.